Welcome, everybody. It is week 5 of the NFL season. This is Start Sit, different day from Club Fantasy. I'm Josh Hudson. We got the whole crew back today and special guest Ashley from the Undroppables. We are answering all of your week 5 Start Sit fantasy football lineup questions. Let's get to it.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Oh, wow.
That was
Okay.
a delayed reaction.
I thought it was the audience she was going for, so I wasn't responding. And then I'm like,
Yeah,
nope.
it was-
Or I
that's
was like
an awkward
expecting like a
pause.
hello everybody, welcome, and then I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
I was ready.
I
for
like
it.
to throw it, it's a little different every time. Mine and only Josh, but it's fun. Good morning, everybody, and welcome into Start Sit Different Day. I am your host, Faith. These are the people.
These are the people.
We
Wow.
are people.
This is my friend, Ashley. I'm just going to talk to her.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I noticed, Joe? Do you notice who's, right next to me on either side of me up here?
People?
Yankees fans.
Oh, I was like, Josh and Ashley.
Oh. Ashley, you're a Yankees fan?
Is
Dang.
this
I am a
is this
Yankees
vicious
fan.
test?
Suck today.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Really quick. Had to throw it out there really
Starting
quick.
with the turmoil. I love it.
Sure did.
Uh,
I mean, Ryan doesn't care, but it's 2-2, so of course I had to bring it up.
Go
Yeah.
Guardians.
They haven't changed their name yet, Ryan.
Well, didn't they play their last game? I think it's official now.
I don't know if it was starting until next season or what. I don't know. I don't pay attention to
I
Cleveland
just-
baseball
There was this whole thing that it's officially that they played their
Oh.
last game as a whatever.
as the Indians.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is Saturday morning. We are here to answer your no, Zach. No. Sorry. Somebody in the comments just said go O's, meaning the Orioles, and
No.
no. It's a consensus no from the group.
No.
The Basement Boys.
Sorry, I had to make one real quick.
That's very lovely. How are you guys today? It's been a day for me, and it's not even 11:30.
No
I'm
complaints
ready.
from me as always.
Yeah.
I'm just
No
ready
complaints.
for
Pretty
football.
easy going.
I'm ready for Cordell Patterson to have 17 touchdowns tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
here's a question: who started Bobby Trees this weekend?
So here's
Against
the
my
thing.
will, actually. In one
Who
league, so-
didn't draft him?
Okay.
Oh,
So I'm going to admit a couple of defeats here. So
Uh-oh.
I was on the advocacy that he was going to torch. Who in the world did they play last week? Tampa. And to trade him. And he scored that touchdown, and I stayed with that. And I did trade him in a few leagues. I was running back needy. I lost David Montgomery. Traded Robert Woods for Cordell Patterson in a league. Very happy
What?
about that. Yeah. I had to throw in future draft picks, but it is what it is. I was down on Woods. And then Woods goes bananas, and so now the guy who
course.
got him from me is talking trash. I still have him in a bunch of leagues because I believed in him. In the Club Fantasy Dynasty League, in which I lost to Joe Zolo last week, I benched him like a moron. But in 2 other leagues, being forced to, I did start him. So it's like a love-hate relationship right now. But I will say I'm still trading his ass after this week. Like this helps me even more because I only believe this is the squeaky wheel gets the grease situation, and that's not going to happen every week. 13 or whatever targets is not going to happen every week.
He had to talk to the coach to get those targets. It was reported by beat reporters that he had to talk to McVay and be like, I need to know like how to get more targets and how to like be worked into this offense. But I was always on the Cooper Kupp camp. Cooper Kupp is like one of my favorite NFL players. So I was always they usually went like back to back or like right near each other. And if they were both there, I was always getting Kupp. He was always my love. I've had him in fantasy for not even dynasty. Like my home league is redraft, and I get him like every year. And this is actually the first year that I don't have him. And I offered like the house to try and trade for him, and the person was like, "No, I love him," and I was like, "No."
Okay, I have to
So-
throw this story in, Ashley, because it plays so well with yours. So Cooper Kupp's rookie year, my younger brother, who I play in a league with, he's about 10 years younger than me, knew who he was when I was the only other person in the league who knew who he was. He could have gotten him super late. Nobody was drafting Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
But I'll never forget in the second round of our draft. Now we keep 3, so it's technically the 5th
Yeah.
round. he just exclaims, "I'm taking Cooper Kupp." And half the room goes, "Who?" And we all clowned him. And then he scored all those touchdowns his rookie year and has been steadily good. Exact same thing. He gave him up in a trade this year and then gave the house to get him back on his team because he couldn't bear to see him succeed on somebody else's team.
That's exactly what it is that I scroll through every week and I look at him and I'm like, you on the other team. No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was interesting for me this week to look at my range of leagues. Oh, by the way, I took over 2 more dynasty teams, so I'm now in 13 leagues.
I'd say
Jesus
Faith
takes
is
the
making a
wheel.
run at me for too many fantasy
For
leagues.
most
So.
She's and there's already talks of a cat fantasy football league.
And one of us doesn't have a job.
Not me.
Ryan's living the lavish life.
I am.
Ryan, fantasy
I'm a kept
football
man.
is your job.
I say I'm a kept man. Basement boys. Kept man.
Yeah, Marley is badass bitch.
She's in the other room. She's in the other room. I'm sure she loves hearing that.
So you mentioned David Montgomery. I lost him to injury as well. There was also a pretty prominent injury to a pretty prominent quarterback on a pretty prominent Thursday night. Ryan, before we get into these questions, why don't you depress all the people and tell them who's not playing this week?
Yeah, this is one of our famous injury lists. So we're going to start with the big news. Russell Wilson has mallet finger. Never heard of it. A ruptured tendon.
I watched a YouTube video on it. It was insane.
I won't watch a YouTube video on it because.
Oh no, he just explained the science. They didn't show it.
Oh, I was about to say I saw the finger on Thursday. I don't need to watch a video.
That gross stuff.
No.
He's likely to miss multiple weeks. I'm not going to advocate grabbing Geno Smith, but I'm not going to not advocate. I'm going to hedge my bet on that because he didn't look bad, and that last pick was not on him.
No.
Will Fuller, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Rashad Penny, Tony Jones, Logan Thomas, all to IR. Those are all the temporary IR guys, so they're going to be out for the next 3 weeks. Quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo out. Trey Lance gets his first start. Nobody listed as doubtful. Teddy Bridgewater listed as questionable. Everything says he's trending up. I think today will be the deciding factor there. Running backs. David Montgomery, Rex Burkhead out. I know nobody cares about Rex Burkhead, but his name came up on the list. I found it interesting that he's not playing the Patriots.
I like Rex Burkhead.
Doubtful, Justin Jackson and Christian McCaffrey. If McCaffrey's doubtful, he's not playing. They would have announced by now, so just don't count on Christian McCaffrey this week. Questionable, and every one of these guys is trending towards playing. DeAndre Swift, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Chase Edmonds, Melvin Gordon, Antonio Gibson, Jamal Williams, Giovanni Bernard, Joe Mixon, Peyton Barber. I will take that back.
I love that there's
Joe
not
Mixon.
a comma in between Joe Mixon and Peyton Barber, and I really wanted you to read it as Joe Mixon, Peyton Barber.
I read it, so I wrote it, so I know. But I will take back what I said. Joe Mixon is not trending towards playing.
Ryan, it's weird that you didn't say Peyton Jesus Barber because he's known as Jesus on the show now. After his
he will never.
Absolute excellence against the Miami Dolphins.
To who is he known as Peyton Jesus Barber?
Peyton Jesus Barber. It's me specifically.
He might be no. Jai, I'd like to reiterate something. He might be known as Peyton Jesus Barber on no pun intended, but on Starts a Different Day, he is not.
This
is my show.
This is
ma'am.
He is
yes, ma'am.
He is still known as Jesus because in the 2 years since he's left Tampa Bay, he has become Jesus at the running back position.
Oh my goodness. We are moving on.
Ryan.
Wide receivers. Julio Jones. Calvin Ridley for personal issues. That one sounds strange. Russell Gage. De'Ami Brown and Cam Sims both out for the Washington football team in a funnel pass game. That could be an interesting one if Curtis Samuel is able to go. Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton out again. A bunch of targets heading Kenny Galladay's way. And James Washington out for the Steelers. Nobody listed as doubtful. Questionable. Devontae Parker, Cortland Sutton, Amari Cooper, Curtis Samuel, Danny Amendola, and then that Nick Westbrook-Akeen. I only listed him here because Julio Jones is out again, so he could have some sort of role. Tight ends out. Robert Ezekiel Gronkowski will not be playing.
Yes.
Middle name is not Ezekiel for
Logan Thomas,
first time.
As I mentioned, went to the IR, and Albert O, the O stands for out this week. George Kittle, doubtful, probably not playing. TJ Hawkinson, questionable, but every Twitter doc I'm seeing is saying don't count on TJ Hawkinson this week. Max Williams, David Njoku. And kickers, who are people too. The out is Robbie Gould went to IR. Joey Sly is now in for San Francisco. The Jaguars started a kicking competition this week and have not made a decision yet. Matthew Wright or Josh Lambo, you shouldn't be depending on their kicker to begin with, but definitely not this week. And then I found it interesting. The Giants, Graham Gano's been hot and cold this season. The Giants are bringing in Aldrich Rojas, who was just let go from New Orleans, to start a competition with Gano. So if you have Gano, you should probably look elsewhere. And then
they do that all the time.
Okay, there you go. And then
I'm a Giants fan. They do that all the time.
Okay, there you go.
I was going to say.
And
For
Nick
the
Folk
record-
perpetually listed as questionable. He's going to play.
For the record, didn't Gano take Aldrich Rosas' job because Aldrich
Yes.
Rosas got arrested, and then Rosas is now coming back to take Graham
Yes.
Gano's job?
Yeah, we had Aldrich Rosas dropped in. There's a whole bunch of drama. He went to the Saints. He had that really bad game against the Giants.
Very
The Saints
bad.
dropped him, and then now he's working out with the Giants again. But they do that sometimes. Just it's mostly to have somebody on practice squad. So I think that's what it is. I wouldn't put any asterisk next to Gano's name for now. It's only if something bad happens.
There you go.
Joe, I just want to state for the record that if Peyton Jesus Barber is a thing, for no pun intended, Robert Ezekiel Gronkowski is the Peyton Jesus Barber of Start Sit Different Day.
Totally
Just
fine.
throwing that out there.
Totally fine.
Boss Man says that he has JT and Melvin Gordon starting for the time being while Monty is out. Do you trust Melvin enough to start him for 4 to 5 weeks? Ashley.
4 to 5 weeks is a long time. I don't know if I would trust him for that long. I do trust him for a handful of weeks, but it is Melvin Gordon, so there is a chance that he has a couple of bad weeks or gets injured, but I don't mind starting him this week and maybe next week.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm going to interject here real quick. I feel like starting people based on somebody else's injuries is probably a week-to-week thing. To be fair, starting anybody is a week-to-week thing. You're not going to set your lineups for the next 4 to 5 weeks and not move players based on performance or whatever. Anyway, Ryan.
You basically said it. Melvin Gordon is not a set it and forget it guy. So you definitely still want to work trades. You definitely still want to work the waiver wire, see who's out there, see who's available, but you're not happy starting Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon is good for 9 points or 15 points. He is either going to get stuck at 45 yards and maybe 3 catches, and he's either going to score a touchdown or not score a touchdown. So that's he's going to have good RB2 weeks, but he's going to have RB3 weeks where he's your RB2.
I also think that for him, you really have to look at matchup, run defense, because he's a big burst guy. If he could get one big burst, he'll go off on your fantasy team. So for him, sometimes matchups aren't as important. I feel like Melvin Gordon's matchups are pretty important.
Joe.
I mean, over the next 5 weeks, he plays 3 top 15 defenses when it comes to rushing yards per game.
That's kind of what I was going to point at, Joe. So thanks for taking off.
Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Washington football team. Dallas is still a dumpster fire of an organization, but you're not going to run.
They can stop the run.
Yeah. And the Raiders are
they're kind of hit.
They're
hit or miss, but it's a division game. So
So I mean, this week his matchup sucks. Next week, flip a coin. Week after, matchup sucks. Week after that, matchup also sucks. So I'm not really a fan of Melvin Gordon at all over the next 4 to 5 weeks. And Ashley, I think you said something you're not trusting Melvin Gordon at all because he could have a bad game, he could have a good game. Fucking Javonte Williams could start over him next week.
Yeah.
We don't know when he even comes in to the mix here. And we're all projecting week 8, which is the game against the Washington football team. So that's 3-4 weeks from now. So maybe find a guy on the waiver wire if you can, but
I say it's so thin right now.
Waivers are stupid thin.
If he's your only option, 3 points is better than 0, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the whole point with this. Gordon is really what he is. He's an RB3 flex type guy. So plugging him into your RB2 spot isn't the most ideal situation, but this is why you add depth behind your 1 and 2 guys for this reason, so that you're making it out with at least some positive points. But yes, work trades, work the wire, see what you're able to procure and move forward to, enhance your lineup decisions moving forward.
To quote RuPaul, you better work.
LFG Drag Race.
Our good buddy Carrington is back this week. In a PPR, are you starting Debo, Mike Williams, or Mike Evans? Ashley.
Debo.
I think Debo.
Your name's not
I'm
Ashley.
I'm also wearing a 49ers sweatshirt, so I feel like I have to say Debo, but I think Debo. I think I think you could just see that this is going on like trending upwards continually, that I think I'm like continually going to start Debo.
Ryan.
Oh, it's all Debo. He's my wide receiver 2 on the week.
Joe.
I remember the days when everyone said Brandon Ayuk was a top 25 receiver and did not pay attention to Debo Samuel. I was not one of those guys. So Debo
Whoops.
Samuel. Yeah, that was Josh. Again, this is why I say every single fucking Wednesday, don't listen to Josh, listen to me and Ryan. Because we have been right probably 80% more than Josh so far this season. So,
and in case you guys haven't,
our upside downside picks would beg to differ.
I was gonna say, except when we put it on the line, but
again, I started to say, in case none of you watching are aware, Joe is easily the second most humble person on this show, right behind Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm the
Josh.
best at being humble.
Oh wait, no, you already said Debo.
Yeah, I'm on Debo.
All right, Corey Davis or Jacoby Myers for Jay. Jay needs to know.
Faith, you gotta tell us where to start. We don't want to get
Ashley.
Yeah.
So sorry you guys haven't figured this out already.
This one's tough. I feel like Corey Davis. I don't know. Jacoby Myers is, I feel like, always hit or miss. I think I'm going to go Corey Davis.
So I got asked this exact question, I think, in a league this morning, or in a chat this morning. If it's full PPR, Myers makes it a bit more interesting, but Corey Davis against Atlanta just feels very juicy. Give me Corey Davis.
Very juicy.
Very juicy. Very moist.
I don't actually, that word doesn't actually bother me, but for some reason, the way you said it, I was just like, no, ma'am.
and goodbye to all our viewers.
You're right. And that's goodbye. Joe.
Jacoby Myers has 26 targets over the last 2 weeks. Yeah. He has caught 17 of them for a combined 164 yards. He is playing Houston. He's playing Houston! Jacoby Myers. Corey Davis is still a pile of garbage.
I say, isn't the Patriots line super?
They only have
they
one
have
starting
lineman, and it's David Andrews, baby, all-pro center.
So they're just going to put...
Yeah, there's a later question about like Damien Harris, and their line is terrifying me this week. Terrifying.
Yeah, very scary. Josh.
Josh.
I was all on board the Damien Harris train this week before all the linemen got put out. So it kind of makes me think that Mac Jones might end up having a lot more like short passes, which is kind of where Jacoby Myers lives.
Yeah.
I do really like Corey Davis this week, but in a PPR setting, you're banking on a touchdown for him because you're getting the PPR upside with Jacoby Myers. So if this is standard, give me Davis. If it's PPR, I'm going to lean Myers. But again, I do still like Corey Davis this week because that Atlanta secondary is hot garbage.
You want to know what else Jacoby Myers has? The greatest arm of a wide receiver ever in NFL history. 2 for 2 on passes last week. I mean, hey, if their line sucks, are they not going to probably throw in a few trick plays to get Jacoby Myers in open space? That's all I'm saying.
I mean, he threw the deepest passes for New England last week.
Yeah, well, Mac Jones can't reach that far yet. He's too young.
I just want to state for the record, in a one game, I don't care. I'm looking at this one game bubble. Mac Jones out through Tom Brady. Thank you.
There you go.
I don't think anyone is disagreeing with
the new GOAT.
The new GOAT from the old team. Second favorite Zolo is here. Roll with Jameis until Wilson is back or look elsewhere. He's in a league with a maximum of 10 ads drops for the season.
Ooh.
So streaming is out.
I can explain this league when it gets to me, but go ahead, Ashley.
Or go ahead and explain it now so everybody understands the picture.
Okay, yeah. So it's the dumbest fucking thing in the world. It's a standard league. It is a standard league. Okay? That's what's start there. It's a standard league.
There's your first mistake.
For 3 seasons, and they said, no, it's too many points. I'm like, I'm scoring 80 points a week, and I hate it. I want to throw my phone against the wall.
I just don't get the thinking. Like, all that matters is that I win. So.
Yeah. Or like, it's too many points for who? What? You're not doing the math.
I
Okay, but go
Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Angers me to no end. There's like minimal bonus points for over 100, over 400, like all these different things. 10 maximum ad drops for the entire season. So they added an extra week. There's no IR spots.
What?
And and they actually dropped it from 12 last year to now 10. So 10 ad drops, and if you go over that, you have to pay $5 towards the pot, and that pot does not go to the winner. It goes to a Chinese food dinner at the end of the year, where everyone still has to pitch in for the fucking food. It's so stupid. The only reason we're in it is me, my brother, and my dad. The only reason we're in it is because, and if any of you are watching,
you love Chinese
which I know
food.
you're not, this is Raymond, Tim, love you guys. The league sucks. Like, we need to revamp this whole fucking thing. It is only a $20 buy-in. That's the only reason we're still in this league, because I played flag football with my buddy growing up. It's their family league. They invited us. I hate the fucking league. I suck. I never win. I am in 10th right now. I can't figure out standard league.
There's the bitterness. Okay,
Yeah.
No,
got it.
every single
The
year,
vitriol now has meaning. Okay.
every single year I come in 7th. It is without fail I
Okay.
come in 7th every single year in that league. I can't figure out.
So you're the
standard.
best of the really bad teams.
It sounds like
Yes.
it sounds like that league might have 6 potential hosts, for no pun intended. But
I have Matt Stafford, Alvin Kamara, James Robinson, Mike Williams, Antonio Gibson, T. Higgins. I am 1-3 in this fucking
sounds
league.
like a great PPR
How many
team.
teams?
Yeah, 10 teams. 10 teams. I have Deontay Johnson. Like, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?
Oh
I
my
don't
god, let's get to the
understand.
question.
Okay, so now that we have context about the league and also know that it is standard, are you rolling with Jameis, or are you going to go hit the waivers for a potentially long term? Ashley.
One of the things is Jameis's bye is next week, so that's an issue if you don't have Russ to like fill in on a bye. So that's an issue. You might want to like pick up someone that has a much later bye that, you know, is like a very late bye that you could roll with until Russ is supposed to be back at the end of the season. If you don't, like, I don't know, I don't mind rolling with Jameis if we take his bye week out. Like, let's just say, I think you're going to get a steady, like, okay points. I don't think you can bank on him having a week like he had the first week, which was like 43 PPR points, whatever it was. But I don't think you can bank on a week like that. I think you can bank on like a steady, like 16 points around there. So if you're okay with that, but my issue is the bye week.
Ryan.
For all the reasons she said, no. 16 points is not what you want out of your quarterback. Now, obviously, it matters who's available. Yeah. I'm going to guess like Sam Darnold's not there. Otherwise,
he is there.
Oh,
go get Sam Darnold.
Go get Sam Darnold. Yeah.
Yes.
Also, Joe,
pay the $5.
Pay the
$5. Who cares?
Yes. Yeah. Go get Sam Darnold 10
it's
times.
$5. Who cares?
Daniel Jones is probably still there. Then I like him less than Darnold. There are quarterbacks out there. Jameis is not it for me. His current season ranking is propped up by a week one that's never, I don't want to say it's never going to happen again. He's going to do it twice more, but you're not going to be able to predict those weeks. And like Ashley said, you're already looking for a quarterback next week again. Go get Sam Darnold.
All right, Joe.
I'm not going to undercut him. My quarterback's Matt Stafford, so I have no reason to pick a backup. So I really have
can't waste those 10 transactions.
Yeah, can't waste those 10 transactions. I'm going to lose anyway, so why would I pay extra money towards Chinese food I'm not even going to get because I won't even be in town? I would probably, of all these, so Trey Lance, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Jared Goff, Ben Roethlisberger, I would go with Sam Darnold. If you really want to roll the dice, you can go with Taylor Heineke, everyone's favorite mathematician. But I would probably roll with Sam Darnold.
So here's the interesting question that I'm going to pose. Didn't they say that Russ's injury is like a 6 to 8 week injury?
Mm-hmm.
They said minimum 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to put us at week 11.
Yep.
Let's be honest. How many wins do we actually think Seattle's going to get in the next 6 weeks?
Yeah, why bring him back?
Like, I would probably consider with a league of this, like these types of crazy settings, I don't think it's out of the realm to consider actually straight up dropping Russ to pick up a Darnold or a Heineke. And then that way you still hang on to Jameis as a backup. If one
so that way you're not playing games with your,
exactly. Because then it's not screwing with your flip-flopping ad drops back and forth because Jameis has his bye next week. But then if you do add Darnold or Heineke, one of those two is going to have a bye as well. And if the Seahawks just keep losing at that point, why bring back Russ if you have zero shot at making the playoffs? Try to get a good draft pick roll on from there next season.
Yep.
Plus Darnold,
Yeah,
to
and-
go to Ashley's point, Darnold's bye
Yeah.
isn't until week 13.
Yep. And the issue too is like there's so much turmoil with Russ that like there's a real possibility that he doesn't like come back to Seattle next year.
Yeah.
So like if you are Russ and you're like, I'm hating everything about this. I'm hating the coaching, the play calls, the situation, the front office decisions. Like it's been trashed the last few years. So if you're Russ and you're looking to get out, you might just stop.
Yeah, you
like
can be like, you know what?
My
Just
finger
not
hurts.
100% yet.
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
And now that I think about it, Seattle doesn't even have their first round pick because it's going to the Jets in the Jamal Adams trade. So they're screwed either way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to Joe's point, since there are no IR spots, hanging on to Russ for potential in 6 to 8 weeks, which in all likelihood probably will not happen, just seems
That's the fantasy
like
football playoffs at that point.
Yep.
just seems like a wasted spot to me.
Good point,
You got
Josh.
to get there first. So.
Hey, G, just drop Le'Veon Bell. There's no reason.
This league.
Right? You want to know what pisses me off, right? I have all those great players. His bench is Latavius Murray, Robbie Anderson, Le'Veon Bell. He's 3-1. He's 3-1.
They
I
don't
understand.
score your bench.
Yeah, so he has Will Fuller on IR. Jerry Jeudy, his bench has 2 healthy players and one of them's a backup quarterback. Drop Le'Veon Bell. Keep Russell Wilson on your team. You know, you're 3-1. Off chance he does come back, he's probably going to be the guy to carry your team in the playoffs. So, I wouldn't drop
Moving
Russell.
on. Okay, so I'm guessing this is a pick 2 out of 4 because anyway, Marvin Jones Jr., Laviska Shenault, or Boyd and Cortland Sutton. It's a you pick 2. Ashley.
Okay, I think I'm picking Boyd and Shenault. I think those are my 2. I think you need to start one of the Jags. I think they might win this week. They're on like a revenge tour after Urban Meyer. If you've seen the videos from practice, they like put their hands in and they said, 1, 2, 3, grind, and then they all like burst out laughing and like so they are ready.
That is awesome.
Yep, like healed over laughing. So start one of them. I think after last week, Shenault did really well last week, and we know that he had a little bit of a connection with Lawrence. So I think that with a rookie quarterback, they like to go to people they know and trust. And last week, I think Shenault developed that trust. So I don't mind. I would probably start Shenault over Marvin Jones, and I think I like Boyd. Is T. Higgins coming back?
Yes.
He is healthy.
Then
With no Joe Mixon.
that's a tough one. Yeah, I think I'd probably still start Boyd. So Shenault and Boyd.
According to someone in our chat, according to Tom Pelissero, Mixon is trending towards playing now. So,
Brief interjection about the Jags. Did any of you see Jeff Greenwood's tweet this morning?
I did not.
No.
He said it's such a shame that the Jaguars are currently being held captive in an urban environment.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh,
That's great.
Jeff.
That's awesome. That's a good tweet.
Love Jeff.
Sweetheart, Jeff. All right, Ryan.
He's definitely stepped up his Twitter game in the last year. I will give him props.
Yeah, he got the blue check mark and got better.
That doesn't happen for everybody.
No.
Yep.
Full PPR. I 100% agree with Ashley, Visca, and Boyd. Anything less than full PR, Visca and Sutton.
Joe.
Boyd and Shenault.
Josh.
Same. I'm going to go Boyd and Shenault, but I do like Sutton if Teddy Bridgewater ends up playing.
Yeah.
Trending the right way.
Preface that because Pittsburgh's secondary has been very vulnerable, especially to deep balls, and that's what Sutton does really well. So I could see a situation where Sutton really pops. So, which again could definitely help him in standard. So, I would lean Shenault and Sutton in standard, but if it's PPR, give me Boyd and Shenault.
Okay. Carrington just wanted to let us know that he took Ryan's advice last week and dropped Tannehill, and he's all aboard the Sam Darnold hype train.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop,
The
whoop.
new
Okay.
Josh Allen.
Just adding to Ryan's humbleness. Gotta love it.
Yep.
Oh, me and Josh are in a full-fledged Twitter war about Sam Darnold at this point. So I
loves it.
I will happily broadcast every Darnold score from this point forward. So.
David is having RB2 issues. Would you go Damien Harris or Zach Moss in full PPR? Ashley.
Ooh.
That's a tough one. The line is the Patriots line is really terrifying me. I think I might have to go Zach Moss. He's been putting up what I have it here. 15, 19, 13 in PPR. I think I'd have to go Moss. I think the line is terrifying. They had a bad week with the run game last week. I'm gonna ride with Moss.
Ryan.
You guys just talked me down on Harris, so I just readjusted my rankings and that put Moss ahead. So give me Zach Moss.
Joe.
I just want to put this question out here. Can anyone here name anyone on Houston's front five? Anyone? Anybody?
Zach Cunningham.
Can you name your
linebacker.
backups on your line?
Oh, he can.
See,
I'm
that's
sure.
a great quote. Justin
Exactly.
Herron, Ted Karras. That's all I got.
That's two more than Josh had.
I'm still gonna go Zach Moss because I've been beating the drum since after the Super Bowl that Kansas City's defense sucks. They are bottom 2. The only team worse is the Seattle Seahawks. The Kansas City defense is garbage. Neither of these guys are going to catch passes. Zach Moss has a higher chance, but none of them you're really going to get PPR production out of. Zach Moss may jump in for a touchdown. Don't be mad if Damien Harris goes off because literally everything is telling you to sit him outside of the defense he's playing. Because normally if any other running back loses 4 of their starting offensive linemen, you're not playing them. So, Zach Moss.
Josh.
I'm going to lean Moss here, but I'm telling you, I really would not be surprised if Harris outscores him, like, at all. And this is the thing, like, every time I watch Houston, I'm just like, God, they're so bad. But their defense is scrappy. Like, they're not playing terrible. Like, I know they got blown the hell out by Buffalo, but let's be honest, it's Buffalo. Like,
they are bottom 5 in the
that.
NFL in yards per game.
I know, but every time I watch them play, I'm just like, okay, they're swarming to the ball. They're actually, trying to make tackles. They're trying. Like, that's what I want to see, right? And I don't know. Like, Harris, again, it's one of those, he has to fall in the end zone. He could still get 100 yards, sure, but he's going to need that touchdown because he's not catching any passes at all. Moss has that ability, but I could also see a scenario where Buffalo and Kansas City get into a shootout and Zach Moss has 8 carries, which is going to do you no good. So, again, I'll lean Moss, but do not be surprised if Harris outscores.
I also think that with Zach Moss, that has a lot higher potential to be a high-scoring game. And I think that also makes me lean more Moss because then if it's a high-scoring game, you'll have more opportunities for touchdowns.
Yeah, that game has a chance to just repeat exactly what we saw Baltimore, Kansas City be, and that was obviously great for the running backs. So...
I just want to state for the record, dear Twitter, stop auto refreshing because I
such a pain.
just saw something on my timeline about Jacoby Myers being the only person, and I was like, "Ooh, let me read that," and then it went bye-bye, and I'm like, "Don't auto refresh, just let me refresh you." So frustrating. Hi, Kira. Kira's watching. Kira wants to know how many touchdowns Jacoby Myers will have. Speaking of Jacoby,
I think it was just a little playful joke.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers. I still haven't looked into this, but I'll do it right now. Jacoby Myers hasn't scored a touchdown since college. I heard.
Yes. Yeah. 0 touchdowns.
Hold on. Are we counting passing touchdowns?
No.
He did throw 2 last year.
No.
why aren't we? It didn't say.
I think for fantasy purposes, you have to count him as okay, fine. He has 2 passing touchdowns. Yeah.
But to be fair, if you click on his fantasy data profile, there are 0 touchdowns scored
0.
because they don't log that.
So. Listen. All I know is that he is absolutely electric, actually, as a passer.
Mm-hmm.
Kira, he's not going to score a touchdown through the air. Let's get that 100% straight right now. The odds he actually throws a touchdown, though, are higher than the odds Cam Newton throws a touchdown. So if you want to put that into perspective.
Yeah, we saw that last year.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Jacoby Myers in the 2 passing attempts he had last year, both were touchdowns.
Way to go, Jacoby. We're
What a
proud
guy.
of you, bud.
You love to see it.
Okay, so In a flex spot, are you starting Schultz, Tim Patrick, Hunter Renfrow, or Devonta Smith? Ashley.
I think I'm leaning Schultz. I think he's kind of pulling away, that he's on a steady incline in production and for fantasy. And the Giants defense is not great. And that pains my heart. And especially with Blake Martinez out, that Giants defense is not great. So I think I'm leaning Schultz.
I think
Ryan.
The Basement Boys are going to be in complete agreement here and give me all of the Hunter Renfrow. Chicago is one of the worst in the league against the wide receiver. Renfrow is actually a top 15 play for me this week. He's in every one of my DFS lineups, I'm pretty sure. So if he fails, I'm out a lot of money. But I think it's going to be a big week for the best wide receiver of the Las Vegas Raiders, Hunter Renfrow.
Joe?
Can I just say how happy I am to see Tim Patrick and Hunter Renfrow in the same
team?
question?
Clearly, John is a follower of.
Yeah, John, are you in my head? Like, I have Tim Patrick and Hunter Renfrow on a team.
I have them on all of my teams.
Hunter Renfrow. It's not even close for me. Devonta Smith is going against Carolina. Tim Patrick is going against Pittsburgh, who I still think Pittsburgh's defense is garbage.
It's not a bad matchup.
Yeah, it's not a bad matchup, but it's not a Hunter Renfrow matchup. And I don't hate Dalton Schultz by any means, because Dalton Schultz is the new Blake Jarwin. So I feel like you just got to roll Hunter Renfrow. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad if you start Schultz either, especially if you get premium for tight end receptions.
Josh?
I love Schultz this week, but I always feel a little uneasy starting two tight ends, like putting a tight end in my flex spot, because it I don't know, it's just, it always tends to backfire because tight end is so matchup dependent. So my first question would be, who are you starting at tight end that you have to rely on Schultz as a potential flex
He's
option?
a follower of this show, so it's Travis Kelce. Let's just throw that out there. Right
or Darren
now.
Waller. Darren Waller. That being said, I don't hate Devonta Smith this week. I know Carolina's defense is rough, or is tough, excuse me. But Philly and Hurts and Smith, they kind of developed that chemistry a little bit more last week, and I think you're going to see them really put the emphasis on trying to pepper him with targets that could potentially pop. And again, they're still working CJ Henderson into that defense, so it's going to open up some opportunities for him. But I think by default, I'm starting Renfrow. So,
yeah. Speaking of Renfrow, I just want to say as a Red Sox fan that sometimes I have to stop and think anytime the name Hunter Renfrow is mentioned, because I'm like, okay, Renfrow OW or Renfrow OE? If you don't know, Hunter Renfrow is an outfielder for the Red Sox. Hunter Renfrow OW plays
the
football.
other day I was talking to someone and I was like, they were drunk and I was like, oh, I need Hunter Renfrow to not do anything to win my matchup. And he goes, and I'm like, what? And he's like, baseball. I said, no, Raiders. He's like, baseball. I was like, no.
What were you talking about, the 3-year-old?
Fantasy football.
I was like, no, Raiders. Like trying to teach a dog a trick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. And it's just like, because like he didn't want to embarrass me. He didn't want to embarrass me, so he was like very tiny little head shakes. Not like that's a baseball player. Like it was like very subtle, and I was like, no, like the Raiders.
Like, you're embarrassing yourself right now, buddy.
Yeah.
He was drunk. He didn't care.
Exactly.
Drunk stories are the best stories.
What's up, Caleb?
Is he actually your uncle or
nephew?
I've known his dad since we were 10 years old. That's Matt, who I said is the worst fantasy player that's ever existed. That is his son. Caleb is trying to avoid that mantle by following in Uncle Ryan's footsteps.
There you go.
Footsteps.
Welcome to the show, Caleb.
I have one of those. My mom's best friend has been best friends since they were kids. She's always been my Aunt Carol.
Since we have some time to kill, I'll tell you a horrible story.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
And then we'll ask your horror story. All right. Who are you starting at flex? Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson, or Hunter Renfrow OW in a full PPR? Ashley.
I think I'm going Renfro. I don't like Deontay Johnson this week. The Denver defense is allowing like the 16th fewest points to wide receivers. I'm not a huge fan of his matchup. Brandon Cooks, I don't know about the Patriots. I don't think he's going to do well against the Patriots defense. I think he's not. He did play for the Patriots at one time, right? So it's a revenge game. It is a revenge game, but I think I'm still leading Renfro.
Ryan.
So hard to bench Deontay Johnson right now, so I'll take the L if it's going to be an L. I'm not gonna let him score 26 on my bench.
Yeah,
Deontay Johnson.
Ryan.
I'll say it again. So I'll start Deontay Johnson right now.
Sorry, Joe.
I didn't want to speak because I was hoping Ryan would take that. Thank you, Ryan.
I'm still trying to find that tweet, so like I wasn't looking at you.
Brandon Cooks will play J.C. Jackson in the top 4 ranked New England Patriots pass defense. Deontay Johnson will play against Patrick Surtain in the top 6 ranked Denver Broncos defense. Hunter Renfrow will play absolute shit in the Chicago Bears defense, and he will destroy them. Hunter Renfrow.
Josh.
I mean, come on. We all know my answer on this one. But I do want to point out really quick. We've talked ad nauseum about how Bill Belichick just takes away a team's best option. And let's be honest, the Texans have no other option outside of Brandon Cooks. I will say that in 2 career matchups against the Patriots, Brandon Cooks has over 200 receiving yards. So apparently he loves playing against this defense. Obviously, it's evolved over time.
Yeah.
But come on. Forever and always Deontay Johnson. You cannot convince me otherwise.
I found the Jacoby Myers tweet.
Let's see
Yay.
it.
Jacoby Myers is
All right,
the
refreshes again.
Wait, what?
I was talking, and then I got rudely interrupted.
Oh, okay. I thought you said your whole piece already. I'm like, this was
no.
Ever.
Jacoby Myers is the only wide receiver in NFL history with 52 plus career catches. He has 112 and 0 touchdown receptions.
Wow, with 50, and he doubles that. A true anomaly.
Yeah.
He is the one.
The tweet finishes with that changes tomorrow.
Hold on, just real quick.
We've been saying that for years.
Yeah, exactly.
Josh, where are you seeing this Brandon Cook stat? Because I'm looking at 1 career game against the Patriots.
Playoff, Super Bowl with the Rams.
Okay, so that doesn't count. He's 4 for 85 in the regular season in 1
and
career
120
game.
in the Super Bowl. Like, come on. That still counts.
4 for
4 for 85.
I said awful. 2 career games. I didn't specify, regular season or postseason.
Were they? I just want to ask one quick question to further skew this. Were they both as a Ram?
One was a Texan last
One
year.
was a Saint.
Oh, okay. So one was a Texan. Okay.
No, yeah, that's right. It was Texan. My bad. Sorry.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we're not comparing when there were other weapons around him, but they were certainly not if he was a Texan. So
yeah, it was last year.
Caleb says you explained your his situation.
Look, I know we got good questions, but I just have to show you guys how horrible of a person I am.
We already know, but
when Caleb
for everybody watching,
there was this hilarious running joke that used to just piss everybody around me. That me and my best friend, we used to joke that we were Highlanders and that we were immortal. It was a stupid thing we did in high school just to agitate people. When Caleb was 6 years old, 6 or 7, he had a little toy sword. And I knighted him. Now, keep in mind, his parents are in a different room. I've been around these people my entire life. And I told this 6-year-old kid, I was like, you're immortal now. You're going to live forever. You're going to watch your parents die. He starts bawling his eyes out and was like, I don't want to watch them die. And his mom comes running into the room. But because they know how horrible a person I am, they were not upset with me. They just think everybody tells this story hilariously. But my favorite part was she was like, I can't wait till you have a kid. I'm going to ruin your kid's life the way you ruined my kid's life. But then everybody adores my kid and they could never possibly do that to him. So it just didn't work out at all. So I am horrible to other people's kids and they all love my kid. So.
That's because Donovan's a baller.
And Caleb's immortal.
And we also want Donovan to beat you. Oh, how?
Whipped his ass. This kid didn't know what he was running
Donovan.
into. Literally didn't know. I woke him up in the middle of the night just to tell him the final score.
Did you really?
No.
I wouldn't put it past you though. That's why I had to ask.
No, but I beat his ass. 2-0 against my 12-year-old son in fantasy football over 2 years. He's trash.
Ryan
He
walks
blames
into his
us for the first loss, by the way.
He does. That was a half-point loss,
Hilarious.
by the way, and it was your fault. You told him to start the wrong person, but
Ryan walks into his son's room with a Tempur-Pedic pillow, smacks him over the head at midnight,
I might just
says, "I beat you, idiot!" Like that's what he
I
says.
might call him in here and not tell him we're live, and then just humiliate him live on air.
He just gets right up in his face.
That's
You
right.
suck. You're a disappointment to me.
Yeah, I never lost to my dad in fantasy football.
Same. Oh my god.
Same.
Same.
But I've also never played in a league
Ashley?
with my dad.
I have not played in a league with my dad.
My dad doesn't play fantasy
I mean, I
football,
haven't
so
Mine either.
I don't know that my dad knows how to make computers work, but
my dad at least knows how to do that.
no.
Did you guys see Cooter's quote tweet?
No.
No.
Somebody tweeted, Myers says he loves tight end Dan Arnold, and he did well in a limited role versus the Bengals. And Cooter said he also said he loved his wife, and look where that got him.
Yep. There was another one that was like, coaches are really loving the tight ends this week.
Now
That's funny.
that's chef's kiss.
I guess Matt's still alive.
Oh my goodness, they're all tuning in now.
Caleb probably
great-
told his dad
what a
that you
great
were
family.
talking trash about
That's
him.
right.
What a great family.
He's only alive for now.
I think we're all only alive for now.
Exactly. I didn't know.
Unless you're Ryan and you're immortal.
I am immortal.
Yeah.
And Caleb, who's also immortal.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
And has no choice.
We are immortal. Sorry. Uh-oh. Favorite Zolo joining the club.
I'll pull the receipts.
Oh.
I'll pull the receipts. I'll pull the receipts. I've been in his league since 2014. My average finish, 3.6. I have made.
Oh, we're
more
talking
money in
head
that
to
league
head,
than I've
Joe. We're
lost.
not talking end of season rankings.
Can I just, hey Lou, just real quick, can we check the
Oh.
playoff stats? Because I've beat you every year in the playoffs. So regular season doesn't fucking matter.
Oh,
if I
didn't
beat
you
in
just say the playoffs didn't matter for Brandon Cooks?
Yeah, that
Wait,
doesn't
yeah,
matter for Brandon
exactly.
Cooks. That doesn't matter for Brandon Cooks because when
Oh,
we're in
yeah.
the regular season, we're still in the fantasy playoffs, still in the regular season, not in the actual playoffs. Because if they were actually in the actual playoffs, half my team wouldn't be in there because I have Tim Patrick, Hunter Renfrow, like they wouldn't actually be in the NFL playoffs.
I love that we have entire families watching this, but yeah, we're just foul-mouthed and awful people the entire time.
Yeah, yeah.
Rory,
Welcome
I'm
to
gonna
Start
get
Sit Different Day, Ashley.
Rory, I'm going to get to your question in a second, but Caleb wants you all to know that being immortal is both a blessing and a curse.
He knows what's up.
And Matt wants you to know that if Ryan didn't talk trash, he wouldn't be Ryan, which is true. And then he's threatening Ryan. He says, I'm coming for you, Weiss.
Yeah, he certainly
Faith,
doesn't mean
there-
fantasy football because he's not even good enough to be in leagues with me anymore.
Faith, there is one question.
I know. I
above
just
Rory's.
acknowledged it. I said Rory before you get
No,
to
there's one
question.
No,
above.
there's one
Oh.
above Rory. MP, I got you right here.
Another
Oh.
one above that too.
That's not a question. That's a statement.
Yeah, we have to weigh in.
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
we?
I
He
just
says,
wanna-
I think I robbed my friend.
Yeah, and your friend actually robbed you, so I think
Yeah,
I'm
Joe
not.
is very anti-Julio.
Yeah, I'm not on the Julio train at
Me
all.
either.
I mean, okay, if this is standard, okay, you robbed him, but if it's PPR, he
Yeah,
robbed
give me
you,
the
my
DPR.
friend.
Yeah, I'm not with the trade either, MP. Hindsight's 2020, but this one was some foresight. You could have seen that coming.
Yeah, Julio
Ashley?
has been hurt, not off to a great start.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like Boyd better.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, MP. Just listen to
See?
Still
no.
love you though. I promise.
Yeah.
We still love you.
Yeah.
If
you
we'd have
listen
just
to-
moved past this like I was going to, you wouldn't have ruined his Saturday. But here we are, you guys just dashing the hopes of everybody
I was
watching.
just say,
My
it
goal-
wouldn't be our show if we didn't tell people how awful their trades were, and then they just keep tuning in to hope that we're wrong.
Yeah.
So-
people tune in to hear me and Ryan absolutely tear them apart. I think that's why they tune in. And for our
And
live
Creative
guests.
event.
what is
I have
Josh's
to
purpose
do
on the show then?
It should just be, you know the town idiot back in like medieval times.
Wow. Wow.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, the king. He's the king's jester.
The
That's what he
court
is.
jester?
I
he's
say,
the
if
king's
anything,
jester.
I'm the idiot because I
And
just
then
say
and then
everything
our
that comes to
lovely
my
guest
mind,
that
so.
I am now successfully pointing to after the fourth time
There we go.
because I
There
can't
we
get
go.
directions down on StreamYard.
Joe, I'm curious. What
Yeah.
role do I play?
Well, so I was playing on Wednesday's
Choose your words
show.
carefully.
Sorry, so I was playing on Wednesday's show.
I got to see how he's going to word this.
You are the court judge because you keep order.
Okay.
I like it.
Or that
like
person
that.
with the scribe that like unrolls the scribe and like reads all the questions.
The town
Hear
scribe.
ye.
That was some
Now, hold
unison
on,
right
We
real question.
absolutely need
Real
to start
time.
next week's
Hold
show
on.
with Hear Ye, Hear
Hold on,
Ye.
hold on, real time, Ashley. What were you thinking the hear ye from? Because that's the real question. Where did you pull that from?
I have no idea.
Oh, I
School
pulled it from
sometime
Hamilton.
ever?
I pulled it from
Okay.
Hamilton. I was hoping you would say Hamilton, but
No.
I love that. That was
Oh,
electric.
that was great. That was
I'm
great.
very proud of you right
Cut the
now,
clip.
Joe.
Cut the clip. Put it on Twitter.
See, I was going to say it kind of sounded a little bit like Monty Python in the
Uh-huh.
intro, but you know.
I'm not dead. I'm not dead yet. Did you just say who, Joe?
No, I know who Monty Python is.
I was going to say, you better be joking, son. Or we're all going to fly to North Dakota and kick your ass.
Well, it might take you a little while to get out here, so. Middle of nowhere. Electric
Okay.
stuff out here.
Okay. Rory wants to know, are you starting Mike Davis or JT? Taylor against the Ravens and Davis against the Jets. I don't know if it's full PPR standard. He didn't tell me that. So give caveats. Ashley.
Jonathan Taylor. I don't trust Mike Davis ever, really. And I don't really like the London games. They mess with fantasy a lot of the time. So I think I'm leaning Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, it's a nice matchup for Davis, but London
Yeah.
can change that pretty quickly. And I mean, I'm the second biggest Jonathan Taylor fan I know. There's no way I'm benching Jonathan Taylor for Mike Davis. I couldn't look myself in the mirror after a call like that.
Joe.
I treat everyone on here like my friend. What I would tell my friends is I would say, read that back and tell me what you think. And if they tell me the wrong thing, I'd slap them. So Jonathan Taylor, it is like, so Roy, this is the classic overthinking case, right? The fantastic matchup in the Jets with probably the 40th best running back in the NFL, or Jonathan Taylor, a top 10 running back, against a better of a defense, but a defense that Clyde Edwards-Helaire still ran on. So
I say Baltimore is giving up the 10th most fantasy points to running backs in PPR.
yeah, the Ravens defense is no longer the Ravens defense. Their front seven is not good, and their secondary is suspect. The only good player on that defense, in my opinion, Marlon Humphreys and Patrick Queen, and even Humphreys has fallen off. So Jonathan Taylor all the way.
Josh.
I mean, you're starting Jonathan Taylor, but I will say that I'm curious to know who's in your flex because I do like Mike Davis this week because that's all the Jets defense gives up is points to the running back. So
Yeah. So who's your flex?
Mike
Who's your
Davis.
other running back?
Like let's figure that one out. But yeah, you're starting Jonathan Taylor over Mike Davis, but I would not hate you at all if you said, all right, I'm going to find a way to put Mike Davis in my lineup. Just don't do it at the expense of Jonathan Taylor.
Yep.
So speaking of Jonathan Taylor, most of you in here know, most of you being Josh, Joe, and Ryan know that I am in the Toilets to Titles Frankenstank League. And basically what happens is in your head-to-head matchup every week, whichever team loses, let me rephrase it. Whichever team wins gets to swap a starter for a starter of the same position from the other team. I won the first week. I've continued to lose every week since then. I was doing okay until I lost last week and they stole my Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, no.
And I'm like,
I would
and
hunt down that bastard and punch him in the face.
It's such a unique league concept.
Yeah.
I'm fully
and I
enthralled
have
with
to
it.
find who they like traded him for or who I got out of him. Oh, I'm sorry. Brandon Bolden.
Ooh.
Electric.
But then again, they also beat you with Brandon Bolden, so you kind of deserve it. Do better, Faith.
Damn right.
I think can we go back to that was tough, Ryan. That was tough. I want to add in I want to say that Rory is a baby after my own heart, and I just say baby because that's his profile picture. Jonathan Taylor's just flex. Oh, the words I love to hear out of that. Woo!
Well,
top
actually,
10 running back as a
let's
flex.
continue with his question though, because I think it does raise something interesting. Are we playing Mixon this week over Mike Davis? That I think is a better question.
Yeah.
Are we?
And I think Taylor's the flex because they play Monday night.
Yeah. So
So
Rory's
that's
sharp
first
on
off,
top of that.
Smart,
Yes.
Rory. Very smart. Very smart.
Do we know? Are we sure he's not talking about Trot Nixon?
Yes. we're
Trot
positive.
Nixon, the 2004 World Series champion for your Boston Red Sox.
Not mine.
He was talking to me. Hey, you know what, Joe or Josh? You're just bitter that you were in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. Oh, God.
How was your mother to deal with after that game? Because for those of you
Oh
who
my God.
don't
I
know,
thought, honest
Josh,
to God, I thought I was
hold on,
gonna be
Josh.
picking her
Josh
up
and his
from
mom
the
took a day
emergency
trip
room
to
later
New
that
York to watch the Rays play the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. Josh's mom is a huge Rays fan. Josh is a huge Yankees fan, as evidenced by his baseball hat. So it was mother and son, where mom was the visitor, and then they got to spend the rest of
If
the day
we
together.
were sitting in the bleachers, oh my God, she would not have made it out alive.
You mean the
swear to God.
You mean the casual Yankees fans that get in there for $10 on the dime and just chuck beers at each other and
Yeah.
threaten to fist fight on the subway ride back home?
All right, I'll
would
say that
not
I
have
have
made
not
it.
had the most pleasant experiences in Fenway. I live in Massachusetts and I'm a Yankees fan, and we go to several like Red Sox Yankees games together, and it's the same way for me even in Fenway. So I don't think it's just the Yankee Stadium.
It's kind of
Yeah,
great
no,
because nobody
well-
ever shows up to Cleveland games, so I don't have problems.
Well, Ashley, here's the thing. You're showing up to a Red Sox game in Yankees attire.
Mhm.
She was just showing up to a Yankees game in Rays attire. No one gives a shit about the Rays.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like if she showed up in Fenway with a Rays shirt, we'd be like, "Oh, go you!" Glad
Which
you-
actually could very well be the case at opening day next year for the Red Sox. Just throwing that out there.
There you go.
But anyway,
Hey,
Rory,
we've
to
got-
answer your question, I actually would sit Mixon this week. If he's been trending as very questionable all week, trot out Davis. Play it safe.
And his
Zero
backup
issue
was
with that.
getting touches before he was even hurt, and
Yeah.
goal line work.
I'm going to go a
Yep.
step further. He listed who he's starting at all of his spots, and I don't know if Beasley is someone you can bench, but in a standard league,
Oh,
Cole
that's a
Beasley
different-
This is
hasn't
a-
cracked
I
10
was gonna say
points
this
yet.
is a different
Different
person,
person.
right?
Oh
This
my
is
God!
Elixir.
Okay, sorry.
And you
Sorry.
guys
Elixir.
call me the court jester. God damn it. Screw you.
No, he
guys.
already said he was the idiot.
Yeah. Elixirs,
All-
we'll get to your question in a
All
sec,
I
don't
want to
worry.
throw out is
Promise.
from afar, their profile pictures have the YouTube
They look
logo
similar, yes.
and
Yeah, they
very
look similar.
red, so I assumed everybody was the same. If
they're all
only
on
their
YouTube.
names were printed next to them.
Yeah.
If only.
My
Lord
bad, yeah.
have mercy.
I
Okay.
said I'm the idiot.
I know.
I
I
don't
said it
think
earlier.
I do. I'm an creature of impulse.
So MP is reiterating from earlier. He's keeping Julio on his bench in case he goes back to his prime, but he also has Amari Cooper, DJ, and Justin Jefferson as his other wide receivers.
So
So,
I'm not as upset with the trade now.
Yeah.
I would have traded him for a running back.
Sure. that's
okay.
fair.
Now for Elixir's question.
Hey, I haven't even seen this one before.
It's start one. LaVisca, Beasley, Anderson, Devontae Parker in a standard league. Ashley.
You guys were already saying it. I think it's standard, probably Beasley.
Oh, I was going the other route. Beasley.
Oh,
hasn't
other
caught-
way?
Yeah. So yeah, don't let
Okay.
stick with Beasley if you believe in Beasley, and then I will tell you how
Yeah.
wrong you are. But
I hate standard scoring, so
it
honestly,
changes the game up.
I,
Quite
Oh my
I
God,
literally have no
same.
idea. I don't play in standard, so I kind of just have no idea.
Yeah, the easy answer would have been Devontae Parker, but he popped up on the injury report, and it's not
Mhm.
looking great right now. I had him in a few DFS lineups and actually pulled him. Beasley hasn't cracked 10 points in standard yet, so for me, it's down to Visca or Anderson, and I'm all with Visca on yardage this week, which can be big for standard, and I think he finds the end zone. So give me Visca.
Oh,
My opinion means nothing because I'm 1-3 in a standard league, but Devontae Parker.
Yeah, I was going to say Parker as well. I do
If
like
Parker's
Visca, so
injured-
if you feel nervous about Parker, pivot to Visca.
Yeah, if his injury report, if it starts trending great tomorrow, I love Parker, but if it doesn't, avoid him. So
okay. Rory wants to know if he won his trade. He got Kyler Murray, Joe Mixon, and D Hop for Kamara and Keenan Allen, but he needed a QB badly. Josh is shaking his head. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got
Actually-
the best player in the deal, Kyler Murray. That's all that matters.
Yep.
Andrew got his weapon, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
It's like a beautiful match there. Okay. Sorry, Jeffrey. Hopefully we can help dry your tears. But Jeffrey's been crying to himself all week trying to figure out his wide receiver and flex spot in a PPR. Marquise Brown, Devonta Smith, Cordell Patterson, and Corey Davis. Ashley.
I really want to say Devontae Smith, but the matchup scares me. It's the Carolina defense who have been doing pretty well. Does anyone have the stats on points they've been giving up to wide receivers? I don't know, but
I'm
grab it
one
really
click
quick.
away. Carolina defense gives up, they're like great, 28th most, so 5th least to wide receivers, only 29 total PPR points per game to the entire position.
And they allow the
Yeah.
second least passing yards per game in the NFL.
yeah, and that, I would love on a week that they're not playing Carolina, I think I would start Devontae Smith in my flex, but I don't think I'm going to start Cordell Patterson. I think I might lean Marquise Brown, which disgusts me, but I think that's probably what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to bench him, and the Colts are giving up 2 touchdowns per game to to wide receivers.
Yep, and that's why I think this one comes mostly down to matchup for me, and that's why I like Marquise Brown.
Ryan.
Yeah, I immediately eliminate Smith.
Mhm.
You can't bench Cordell Patterson right now, so to me, it's down to who do you want to gamble on, Brown or Corey Davis. I really like Corey Davis this week, but I think I would go Brown.
Joe.
Patterson and Brown. I'm actually shocked that the Colts are a top 10 pass defense in the NFL because they're bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They give up touchdowns. That's why they're bad for
Mhm.
against wide receivers
Yeah,
in fantasy.
but they only allow 216 passing yards per game. Now, granted, they've played Jacoby Brissett, which
Yeah.
probably skews that stat. But that just kind of shocked me. I would roll with Hollywood Brown against my will, gun to my head, because of the two Garbo guys, Marquise Brown has found the end zone more than Corey Davis has. In all reality, Marquise Brown should probably be leading the NFL in touchdowns, but he also leads them in drops, so that's an issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say if he doesn't drop those, excuse me, 3 touchdown passes against Detroit, he's probably the wide receiver 1 in fantasy right now. So, give me Hollywood, and you're not benching Cordell Patterson. There's no unearthly way you can do that right now.
I mean, you can. You just likely shouldn't. Words matter, Josh. Words matter. Don't threaten these people.
I threaten people every week.
It's what we do, Faith. It's what we do.
It really makes them feel alive.
Okay, lightning round.
Yep.
Tony or Curtis Samuel in PPR? Ashley.
Tony.
Ryan.
Ton of targets for Tony.
Joe.
At one point, you sitting at home had more receiving yards in the
You
NFL.
said
than
lightning
Kadarius
round,
Toney.
not describe your life story.
Curtis Samuel.
Josh.
Kadarius Toney.
Okay. Would you trade Cook for Najee and AJ Brown? Ashley.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Joe.
No.
Josh.
What are we doing?
He also has Amari Diggs, Zebo, Allen Robinson, Cook, Eckler, and Edmonds. Does that change your answer, Ashley?
It does. You don't need wide receiver. I change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you sticking with no, Joe?
Even if you need a fucking wide receiver, we train Dalvin Cook
Okay.
for the Garbo offensive line of the Steelers? No, thank you.
Josh.
I'm gonna hang on. I'm gonna hang on to Cook in this scenario, but do yourself a favor and go grab Alexander Madison.
Yeah.
Oh, we
And
did
there
it.
you have it.
Hell yeah.
Ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages. I received somebody replied to our tweet on Twitter about the show saying, are you seeing Twitter comments? And now that I go back through our comments, I am not seeing any of them in this chat.
Nope.
So if you asked a question on Twitter, we are so sorry. I don't know where the disconnect is happening between StreamYard and Twitter, whatever.
Yeah, they ended their relationship.
So even though there's still a pretty little check mark up here with the Twitter logo next to it saying that it's publishing. But anyway, we are so sorry. Reply to that show tweet.
Yeah.
Reply to that show tweet. Somebody will answer your question. Promise you. We're not ignoring you. Literally, it's not visible.
Yeah, it all
to
comes
us.
down to Twitter, StreamYard, Twitter, and whatever the other company is aren't working
Periscope?
together anymore.
Periscope
aren't working together anymore. So Twitter is, we can still broadcast there, but the questions, we don't see theirs. They don't see any of our comments. So
Which is interesting. So I'm curious to know.
just happened last week. So
Yeah. So, again, like I said, if you have questions and you're asking them on Twitter, didn't make it through to YouTube or Facebook, reply to the tweet. One of the guys will answer. Also, I guarantee anybody else on Twitter who sees it will answer it.
Yeah.
Because that's just what we do. For my dear friend Ashley of the Undroppables, Ryan, Joe, Josh.
oh, you almost had it.
You
I did, but I was like,
I
but my
know.
hand was like hidden, and I was like, wait, no. This is Starts It Different Day on a Saturday morning. Hope you have a great week this week. If their advice led you to a win, let us know. If it led you to a loss,
Don't
call
let
them
us know.
out.
Don't tell us.
Don't
Don't
let
tell
us
us.
know. Yeah.
No. Call them out. It's
Don't let
entertainment.
Don't let us know.
Go Red Sox.
No.
Go Dogs. Beat Auburn. Have a great weekend.
Roll Tide.
No, ma'am. Go Dogs.
Yes, ma'am. Roll